All right, we just got done, Kate and I, from Dr. Bergman's office getting adjusted for our weekly session, and we feel pretty amazing, right?
Oh my goodness.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
Now we're headed over to Newport Float with Ron Becker, who we had on our show, episode 301, I think, 301 or 302.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that don't know what floating is all about, it's I think it's one of the most incredible things in the world that you could possibly ever do. It involves lying in a tank. Essentially, it's pretty. It sounds really claustrophobic, doesn't it?
Totally.
It sounds really crazy.
When I first heard of it, it was the worst idea I'd ever heard.
You're
Who the
thinking,
heck would want to do that?
Yeah. Why? What good does that sound? But you're lying in a tank that's completely pitch black dark. So you're lying in a tank that's completely pitch black in about 12 inches of water. So you can't drown. A lot of people think you can drown when you do flotation, but it's impossible to drown really, because you're lying on your back while you're floating. And it's got about 800 pounds of Epsom salts, magnesium bath salts in there. So it's completely, I think it's about 10 times more buoyant than the Dead Sea, which is incredible. And the water is heated up to exactly the temperature of your skin, which is, I think it's a little bit less than the temperature of your blood. I think it's around 94, 95 degrees, I think. And so the water's heated up to that degree, but also so is the air. So when you're lying in a tank, it feels like eventually you become so still and so, you're not moving at all, that you don't feel the water or the air. So it becomes this sort of blending mesh of your skin, your body, and the air. And so it all becomes one sort of entity. And then when there's no light, it's completely pitch black. So it doesn't matter if your eyes are open or if your eyes are closed. It's completely pitch black. So you sort of become this untethered, like the mind completely becomes untethered from the body, which is this weirdest feeling you could do or you could have. And even people in space, they can't have that because they're seeing the Earth, they're feeling the astronaut suit. So there's no other real environment in the universe that you could do that would completely replicate being in a flotation tank. And so it removes all five senses of your body, which allows the mind to sort of have to deal with itself. And so when you go into the tank, it's a very weird situation. It's kind of eerie, it's kind of surreal, it's kind of strange. When you first get in there, you're not really sure what's going on, and you don't know if you should be nervous, if you should be scared, if you can get out, if something were to happen. But the doors to the tank can only be accessed by you, and so no one can lock you in there or anything like that. At least that's the way it is at Newport Float, which is where we're going right now. And so when you get in there, it's just a really surreal, strange feeling. But you feel, after a few minutes, you sort of settle into the feeling of being in this environment where
It's almost like you're in a cocoon.
Yeah, it's returning to your mother's womb kind of thing. Because, I mean, you've had this. You feel your heart beating and yourself breathing. It's the strangest thing ever. And so you can feel that and hear that, and it becomes this sort of weird environment, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness.
It's
like it's like a return, like you said, like to a familiar place that you don't quite know what it is, but you feel like once you're there, you've been there before.
Yeah, it's
to
bizarre.
me at least, I felt like that. But
it's so bizarre. It's the strangest feeling. And so when you're in there, I think that magical things happen because, like I was saying before, your mind's untethered from your body. So your mind, like we're sitting here, and no matter how calm of an environment you can create for yourself, even like meditation or massage, you're still feeling the touch sensation. You're still feeling your body weight, being pressed against a seat or a chair or a cushion. You're still smelling things, you're still seeing things, you're still sensing things. And so no matter how much relaxation you can get in any environment, you're still getting sensory input. And anytime you have sensory input, whether it's touch, smell, sense, whatever, taste, your body has to deal with that, and your brain has to deal with that. So when you have that, your brain's always trying to make sense of this information coming in. And so it's trying to make sense of, do you like this? Do you not? Is the pressure too hard? Am I uncomfortable sitting in one position? Am I too comfortable in this way? Is my leg falling asleep? Am I starting to think about things? Or I'm starting to see light or hearing sounds. And so your brain, it's all information. And so when your brain has none of that, it's absolutely devoid of all information. There's no input at all coming into your body. I think it's the only time in your life where your brain can actually, or your body can heal, because your brain is not using this energy and all of its resources to deal with this sensory input that's coming in. And so when your brain doesn't have to deal with that, a lot of people talk about having psychedelic experiences where they start seeing visions, and they start seeing these strange entities appear to them and say to them things where their voice is echoing, and they're coming in and out of reality and in and out of existence through some etheric plane or some alternate reality. The guy who sort of invented flotation therapy, John Lilly, back in the 50s and 60s and 70s as well, reported having all kinds of these weird psychedelic experiences. And I don't even think he took psychedelic plants or medicines or of any kind. And so you can get to that level, that state, just by having all 5 of your senses removed.
You've had a few experiences like that, haven't you? Where you've seen visions, or felt like you get really clear on something, or you almost have a voice, but not. Like you hear something, but not really. It's just strange.
It's bizarre. It's the strangest thing. And I feel like when you're in there, you can use the tank for a lot of different reasons. You can use it to work on different things in your life. You can use it to become more aware of certain things in your life. You can use it to be taught and be open to receiving information, either from God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, to come in, and you have this sort of ability to receive information like you wouldn't ever before. And so I tell all my friends to do it. We tell everyone we know about it, and so far a few people have done it, right? A few people. And I'm just trying to I just feel like I'm a crusader for this thing, because I feel like if people could really get in touch with their inability to be silent with themselves, and their inability to wrestle with the bigger questions of life, and with their inability to be uncomfortable in these types of situations, I think that once we're comfortable being silent and being able to be with ourselves, I think that our consciousness changes, our awareness opens up and expands, gets more broad, and we start to see things in a different way. We start seeing us and live our life in sort of a third-party perspective, and it's just the most incredible experience. It's just amazing how removing everything is an experience in and of itself. And you've had some pretty amazing experiences too, haven't you, Kit?
Oh yeah, I feel like they've been so amazing that now, if someone were to ask me how would your perfect day, what would your perfect day be? Mm-hmm. It used to be wake up and get a Starbucks coffee and then go get a massage. But I would start first thing in a float session, because I feel like it really sets the intention for your entire day. After we get out of that thing, it's just this magical, it's unexplainable really. How you feel. It's like you're floating on a cloud, and you just had the most clear, to me, I feel like though a lot of people say after their first or second experience is when it kind of hits in for them. And I feel like you have this this clarity of mind about you that you really can't experience in the everyday life without having gone into the tank.
Yeah, and I think people are uncomfortable because they've told themselves that they're claustrophobic. A lot of people say that, don't they?
I was scared of that for sure.
Yeah, but the tanks that we go into are made by this guy named Crash. I don't know. I think that's just his sort of nickname. But he does the float lab in Venice Beach, and he's created these tanks that are just incredibly clean. That's one of the big things about float tanks, is that a lot of them pass bacteria and disease. I need to be in the other lane, don't I?
No, you're good.
Yeah, you're good. And so cleaning these tanks after you use them is really important. But it's one of the most strange, weird, environments that you could ever put yourself in. And when you first get in, you're thinking, we go for about 90 minutes. And when you first get in, you're thinking, how the heck am I going to be able to sit and lie in this tank for 90 minutes? But you sort of float in and out of consciousness. It's like when you wake up in the morning, you're sort of in that theta brainwave state. Is it theta or delta? It's theta, right?
Theta. Whoa.
Theta. And
This is bumpy.
it's like being in that state all day, or for all 90 minutes. It's just the most incredible feeling. It's strange. It's the weirdest thing. And we've been going for about 6 months now, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times we've been doing it, but there's never been an element of being claustrophobic, at least in my mind.
I started out in the beginning by keeping the door cracked.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Nice.
First, like 2 or 3 times, I had to let a little light in, and then you just get more and more comfortable. I think
Really?
the thing is that I've had a few times where I'm disoriented. Because in Newport Float, it's really cool where, like, when your session's done, I don't know how other places work, but you get, like, this really peaceful music playing.
Yeah.
Kind of wakes you up. And so you have that, and then you kind of sit up, but you don't know, like, what direction. Well, you know what your direction you are, but you don't really know if you're, like, a little off kilter. So a couple times I've pushed for the door, and I'm like, oh, where's the door? You know, like, I can't find it, but that passes. So you're just so, like, almost drugged up and high on this, what do you call it? Not sodium.
No, magnesium.
Magnesium.
Yeah.
That I don't know, it's like you're not panicked, but you're a little confused about where you are. So I think that after I got more used to that idea, I'm better. Like with shutting the door completely, knowing that there's just only one way you can really end up, and you can't completely like turn your body around in this tank, you know?
Yeah, and you can't flip over or drown. If you fall asleep, there's nothing that would ever happen that would cause you to sort of drown at all, because you're just sort of, lying in 12 inches of water, and this is almost impossible to drown in that way. But it's just an environment. I felt sometimes where you don't know if you're sort of vertical or if you're lying down. So it feels like you're flying through space, a little bit. And it's just really just the most incredible experience
Isn't
ever.
it funny that we describe it like flying through space, but we've never really flown through space? Like, why do we think it feels like that? It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like the closest thing that you'd connect to that, you know?
Yeah, it's bizarre. Okay, here we are at Newport Float, so we're gonna take a walk and get a little tour of the place where we go floating as much as we possibly can.
Which, in my opinion, could be every day is still not enough. Good morning, Ron.
Hello.
How are you?
How's it going?
Good. Welcome, guys, to Newport Float Therapy, aka
second home.
Heaven in Disneyland for adults. How's it going?
Good. So, you guys ready to hop in?
Oh my gosh, we are ready.
Just about.
Nice and early.
Oh man, we are the early birds.
So, give us a little tour of Newport Float, and we'll
Surely.
talk a little bit about it.
Okay, come on back.
Sweet.
So, I bring everybody into the equipment room first so they can kind of see. It's a little loud. We have the blowers running, but
Gosh.
so this is the important part of the operation. This is how the water's cleaned. We filter it down to a micron, which is like 1/5 of a red blood cell, and then we send it through these chrome tubes here for ultraviolet disinfection, and then we have ozone generators up on the wall. So this is ozone's unstable, and it hands off its extra oxygen to like if there's any bacteria or anything, it just grabs onto it and it kills it. Apparently that's how it works, and so it breaks up grease and all that other stuff, and that's how they clean pools and spas. So this is it runs it through about 2 to 3 times every time somebody floats.
So if someone floats, it does 2-3 cycles?
Yeah, it runs through 90 gallons a minute, and there's only 250 gallons in there, so
Wow.
it runs through around 900 gallons. So these are the only ones that have passed NSF certification, as far as I'm aware, in the country, and I think in the world. There's no system that's this clean. So
the other tanks, like the Samadhi tanks, are those? Do they clean as well as this?
I don't think so. What they do, most tanks filter only, and then if they have UV or ozone, some of them have a small UV and ozone, but they don't. They don't. It hasn't passed anything, so I don't think it's robust like this. It's not like on a commercial basis, and you need commercial because we have 16 people a day coming through here, so it's better to have a really strong system.
Wow.
So what happens, I'm so curious, when you go in, we've seen you take that long pole and kind of test the water. What are you testing?
Oh, no, I'm just mixing it.
Oh.
Yeah, because, I used to, we were having some issues with temperature, but
That was a temp, okay.
Yeah, but it's perfect now, so, but sometimes early in the morning you want to mix it because the hot water will go to the top and it'll think it's warmer than it is, so you might mix it. But then once people are in and out and the cleaning's going, the temperature gets better. Yeah, so
I
the first
see.
thing in the morning, sometimes the temperature will be off by a degree, but, so I'll show you the chamber here.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of people have the whole idea of being claustrophobic. I'm sure you've heard that a lot.
Yeah, what I tell people is, here's the chamber. So
Wow.
it is dark in there, obviously. What I tell people to try to do is they're claustrophobic, and the good thing is it's tall. It's 7 feet tall, so it's not like it's closing on your face like a lot of the small ones.
Right.
So I tell people to just keep their hand on the door because that way they can pop the door if they get wigged out a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then other people will actually put a towel in the door. The problem is then you're not getting the sensory deprivation because you've got light coming in. Then it's just like a big bathtub.
Oh, right.
So you're getting you're getting the physical benefit of the magnesium, but you're not getting the theta kind of because it's like being in a bathtub at home.
Yeah.
So, and also the cool air comes in, so you can kind of feel cool air. Even though it's warm in the room, it's a lot warmer in there. It's like 95 up to 96. So, only about 1 out of 30 people are really like,
Actually claustrophobic.
Yeah, and a lot of people just kind of get over it, and a lot of people have done it, and then the first time they pop, and then they get used to it, and they're comfortable in there. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of the claustrophobia thing's more in their heads. They're worried they're going to be claustrophobic.
Yeah.
That's how I was.
Self-induced thing. Yeah.
And the fact that you can reach around in there and you lift, you can reach 3 feet above your head, it makes it. I think it makes it better. But if it was on your face, you feel like I can't get out.
Yeah.
So,
How many feet deep does that go back? Is that 9?
it's 8 feet long, 4 feet wide, 7 feet tall. We're going to try to get 2 more in here. They're going to be 1 foot wider. They're going to be 5 feet wide. So.
Why is it? Why? Just to...
Well, some people they just want to put their arms sideways, I guess.
I see.
But it's hard. I mean, because then you're just dealing with a lot more volume of water, a lot more heating, a lot more salt. It's a little more wasteful the bigger. Some of them have these huge pool type of things, and you're heating a ton of water. It's almost more like a cocoon with this size. I kind of like this, but there's some big people too that like tall. I've had people 6'10" in here, and it's pretty tight.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's about 13, 14 inches of water. There's 50 pounds of Epsom salt per inch, so there's about 14, 50-pound bags in there, which is hard to imagine they can hold that much salt. But we have to keep the water warm because if you cool it down, the salt will get more dense, and it can actually mess up your whole filtration system. I've heard of that happening before because the water evaporates, and as it goes down, it goes the pure, just like the ocean, the pure water goes up in the air.
Right.
So it gets saltier and saltier as it goes down, and people don't watch it. Then they turn on their filters, and it's so dense it just cruds up there. Yeah, they have to change their whole filtration.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I am always checking the salinity of this because of that. So
Wow.
I don't need that expense.
Yeah, no
Wow.
kidding. And as you guys can see, there's no lock on the inside of the door.
Yeah.
That makes
Or
people
outside,
feel
right?
better, or outside.
Yeah.
You only lock yourself into the bathroom, which is like...
There's a lock here, so no one has access to the door.
Yeah.
Is that standard in the industry? Do people do it like that when they have?
I think so. Yeah. We have an emergency key, and we've had times where people. There's people that with sleep issues when they go in. Like I've had people with migraine issues when they go so deep in here that their family actually has to go wake them up because you're banging on it with a flashlight and you cannot wake them up. So they're just so so relaxed because if you go 6 months with bad sleep, this will put you really far out. So
Wow, that's
I've
a
had
testament.
that happen about 3 or 4 times.
Really?
With 3,000 clients we've had through. So
Wow.
and we've been full now for like 5 days, so it's getting popular. I'd like to get a couple more so we can really, because I just turn people away, and people get angry. You know, when you call, they get mad. Hey, you have anything today? I'm like, no, next Tuesday, and they're like, oh, and they hang up on you sometimes. So I understand it because people just want to come in. You know?
Yeah,
So.
that's funny.
So we have a blue one here and a green one on the other side, and
This is Justin's favorite tank.
yeah, that's his tank.
Mine is
there.
the green one.
And this is our future 2 more tanks, hopefully, and
Oh, cool.
even 3 if I get rid of my laundry room. That would be great. So.
Wow.
Yeah, so you had someone in there, or you were saying last time that you started hearing some voices.
Yeah, I heard after I was in there for 20 minutes, and after about 10, I heard a laugh, and I just like, okay, wait, that came from my head because you can't hear laughter.
So you're all in there by yourself and you hear a
You
laugh.
just hear as clear as day. You hear like a laugh, and that's the kind of the lucid dreaming, I guess. And I heard there's another client of mine that was almost in tears. He said right before the music played, because we turn music on at the end to let you know it's finished. He said he heard both of his friends laugh from, and these were both people that died a few years ago. And he said clear as day, and he was like shaken up. So. I don't know if it's the blue tank or what, but we keep hearing laughs in there, so it must have some good memories going through the water or something.
Wow.
So it's holding the memory, kind of.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'll let you stay in the blue tank.
Yeah, I'll stay in the blue tank.
Yeah, I don't want to hear the laugh.
I'm going to stay away from the laugh.
So yeah,
Awesome.
thanks everyone for watching, and please, I'm curious to know if you're watching this, if you've ever been in a float tank, and if you've ever had. Some people have those psychedelic experiences. If you have any experiences at all, I'm just curious what your experiences are. So please leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, Ron.
Sure.